do, and it's not going to dry all of a sudden, and it's going to bubble up a couple more times, so I'm going to make sure it works. I'm going to cut a little bit off this here, the same as I've done on the sides, 1/2 inch around, and then I'm going to put a piece over the back there. I don't want this bulge, I want that to go in, what they call them, and then I'll I don't know, I might cut that. No. Anyway, I'll think of something. And you can see what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pull the edges in, put some nice mitre joints in there, which you, from bookbinding, you know how to do. And all you do is I usually use a ruler, but I can't be bothered these days. Just put the end in like so. Hope you can see this. And take the one out from the inside. Oh, this open knife is blade wants changing. I should have gone the other way really, because I'm cutting the paper the wrong way. I should have been going this way, but there you go, that's a mitre joint. And I'll do the rest of them, and then put a piece on the top and do the same probably with this back bit, and then I'll show you what I've done. I'll stop there anyway. Well, I've just been downstairs and made myself a little drink and brought it up, and I have covered it. I'm a little bit out of shot there. Let's see if I can get into a better position. It's I have covered it. It's not well covered. I mean, I was more interested in making the box than I was in covering it. But it was sort of semi-successful. And from the last pictures you can see that I've just stuck a piece on the bottom. And the back I just cut off and left a little ridge down the middle, which I wouldn't normally do. I'd normally leave it for the corner or something like that, so that I could do it on the corner, but I didn't have enough paper, and I wasn't bothered about, just in case I made a mistake, because paper's quite expensive, especially this type of paper. Excuse me. But I also added the paper for extra rigidity, because the paper does really give it strength. I mean, it gives it that another like 25% strength extra. And I put this on, and now I'm sorry I did. It doesn't look as good as I thought it would look. But I'll varnish it, and it'll get hacked about a bit, and with the dice going in, I suppose, and everything else. And I have tried it with the dice, and I'll show you it later on when I'll run a few hundred dice through it. It's very noisy, and I put a little piece of felt on the bottom. I haven't put any. I've just put it on with a wood glue and thing. It's gone on quite well, and I put it in as best as I could. And I would have been better off painting the inside, actually, a darker colour. A dark colour, it would have looked much better. It'd be fatal to try and paint it now, because you wouldn't do it properly, and you'd catch all these edges and things like that. So it's a bit late for that. So I'll do that for the next time. But that's the first half of the dice tower. And when you make yours, I suppose hopefully you'll do a better job than this. But it's the ideas you want, how you do it, not how you go around doing what you do. And covering it up is quite easy. I mean, I've got loads of little videos on covering, how you cover it with the material. And I'm still sticking to my little plan. And I've got to do this tray. I was toying with the idea of doing a sort of a half round tray like this. Well, I thought that would be too much. I can do a half round tray, but if it goes wrong, it looks terrible. So I think I'll just do the box that comes out the front there, so as you can close the two up together. And I'll see what I'll do. I'll come up with that, and I'll show you what I've done in the next little piece, which will be fitted onto this one, which will only take seconds, of course. It's just sort of overnight for me, but for you it's only for seconds. And I don't know if anybody thinks that's worth doing or whether you but anyway, I shall stop there. And yeah, that's the first dice tour I've ever done. Anyway, I'll stop and go on to the next bit.
Right.
Okay, well, it took me a while to set that up. What I'm doing now is I'm just I forgot to switch the video on to do this, but it's just a simple box I've made, and I've got a video on this already, so I'm not too worried about this. It's in one of my sections on how to make a simple box, and I'm just finishing off at the moment. I'm not being too careful because all I'm going to do is put a bit of felt in the bottom, so it's not a proper box as such to hold anything. It's just going to be for the dice. Yeah, so I won't be too long doing this. Yeah, I'll just do a quick shiz on this. Yeah, and this will be the bottom half of the duo, which collects the dice after you've thrown them, and it will also act as a protective thing for the tower, because the tower will fit in this. I'm hurrying up to go slow again. Yeah, I don't have to be too careful on the floor with this one because it's going to have felt in, and felt's quite thick, so it doesn't need to be, I don't need to be too careful about joints and things, because the felt will cover all of that up, cover up a multitude of sins. And that's why I've gone right down the bottom with the cloth, the material that I'm putting on the book, or the box. I will call it a book, because all I want to do is put a bit of felt in the bottom. What this does is just seal the ends. It's not very professional, but it does finish it, and you're best finishing it with your fingers actually, and it seals the end off completely. So if there's anything showing, it will cover a multitude of sins. And because it is clear, it's PVA, it will dry clear, and there'll be nothing to see. Okay, well, all I've got to do now is put a bit of felt in the bottom of that, and it's then ready. And that's what it will look like in its finished thing. And then to play the game, all you do is just stand it up, and the felt will be in there. I'll put the felt right way across, it makes a difference, and because then you can play it either side, either end. And that should be it. So I'll stop there and I'll do the next bit in a minute. Okay, well, I've cut a piece of felt roughly to shape, and what I do to cut it is nothing really scientific. I get a steel ruler, and my open knife, and I put the steel ruler on, up to the box, remove the box, and then just cut down. And replace it. Up to the edge. I better turn it round first, cut the sides off. So I've got one straight edge at the moment. It's quite difficult to see this. So I'll leave a little bit up there. A little bit down there. Put the straight edge on, take it off. This is the way I cut felt for size, shape, etc. When you're left-handed and right-handed and cack-handed. That's that bit. I suppose it helps if you use it. We're not far off there. Not far off. I'm going to take a little bit off that side. A couple of millimetres. Now I'll take that a little bit more. One of these is the right knife, I just don't know which one. Okay for width, and now I've got to do a little bit for. There's quicker methods of doing it than this, but doing it this way, and it's pretty accurate. Yeah, there we are. Can't do much better than that. Pretty good. And all I do now is a bit of glue in the bottom. It needs to be a little bit, what they call this, because you might need to move the felt around a little bit. So I'll put that in. And the felt will move slightly, not a lot, but it will move to fill in little gaps and things if you've got a couple of discrepancies. But I found this method, although it looks as though it's not going to work, it works every time for me. I don't know about anybody else. This is what I do, so I'm not going to show you anything that I don't do. And if it looks a bit crude, it does work for me. And PVA glue is good enough to put the felt in with. And the material soon soaks up the excess. So there we are. A jobbed. And there's your little box. And I've got a couple of dice here. And I'll show you the wee beastie working. It makes a hell of a rattle, this. Comes down at a speed. Mind you, there's more dice in there than you'd normally use, but you normally play with about 5 or 6 dice anyway. So I think I've got about 20 or 18 or 20 there. So, and there you go. And that's my super duper dice tower. Made completely out of paper and card. Yeah. And when you're finished with it, the whole thing just fits together one way or the other, whichever way you like, to protect your box. And there you are. And I'll stop there.